Tonight, several developing stories as we come on the air. Authorities in Alabama search for suspects in a deadly mass shooting. Israel and Hezbollah mount more rocket attacks against each other amid fears of an imminent wider war. And the battle for the swing states intensifies with just over 40 days to go until Election Day. First, authorities in Birmingham, Alabama are appealing to the public for help. At least 4 people were killed and more than a dozen wounded in what police say was a targeted shooting in the city's popular nightlife area. Authorities say most of the victims were innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. After finding more than 100 shell casings, police say the alleged shooters may have used a modified automatic weapon before fleeing the scene in a car. The ATF and FBI are helping with the investigation. Stephanie Ramos reports from Alabama. Overseas, Israel and Hezbollah intensify their attacks on each other as both sides appear headed for a wider conflict. The strikes are now reaching deeper into Israel. Prime Minister Netanyahu vows to do whatever it takes to restore security to the northern part of the country. Moore and Martha Raddatz are both in the region with new reporting. Here at home, the race for the White House. Both campaigns zero in on key swing states. What new polling shows about the state of the race and what Donald Trump said today about his future if he loses. The growing outrage over a police-involved shooting on a New York City subway platform. 2 innocent bystanders hurt, 1 critically, what the newly released body camera video shows. A Mississippi jury decides the fate of a 15-year-old accused of killing her mother and trying to kill her stepfather. The WNBA playoffs get underway as the league's newly named MVP makes history. And America strong tonight. The identical twins celebrating together at 102 years young and their message for us all.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us on this busy Sunday. I'm Lindsay Davis. We begin tonight with the search for suspects in the deadly mass shooting overnight at a popular entertainment district in Birmingham, Alabama. 4 people were killed and 17 injured outside a cigar and hookah lounge. Authorities say at least 1 person was targeted in the shooting. The other victims were caught in the crossfire. Police say a car drove to the 5 Points South area and multiple gunmen opened fire, then fled the scene. Police recovered about 100 shell casings. Investigators are working with the FBI and other law enforcement agencies, urging anyone with information to contact authorities. The city's mayor says the shooting is part of the gun violence crisis in America, saying, quote, when America gets a cold, it's possible that Birmingham gets the flu. We do want to warn you, some of the video images may be disturbing. ABC's Stephanie Ramos leads us off tonight.
Tonight, police are calling the deadly gunfire that tore through a popular nightlife district in Birmingham, Alabama, wounding more than a dozen people, a targeted shooting. At least one of the 4 killed, believed to be an intended target.
We believe that there was a hit, if you will, on that particular person, as far as, someone was willing to pay money to have that person killed.
Around 11 p.m. on Saturday, police racing to the city's historic 5 Points South area near the campus of the University of Alabama at Birmingham, finding at least 21 victims.
It was probably about 5 or 6 that went out on the stretcher that I saw. I'm sure it was probably more.
Authorities say multiple suspects jumped out of a vehicle, opening fire on a group standing outside, and then fled. Investigators now say they believe the firearms involved in the shooting were converted to fully automatic using a so-called gun switch. Around 100 shell casings collected at the scene. Tonight, police say no arrests have been made as they plead for the public's help.
First thing and the priority is to get these shooters, find these shooters and get them off our streets.
Lindsay, police say the shooting likely stemmed from a separate incident. Most of the victims were caught in the crossfire. Authorities have now partnered with the ATF and the FBI as they continue their investigation. Lindsay.
Some of those victims in critical condition tonight. Our hearts certainly go out to all involved. Stephanie, thank you. Overseas now, Israel and Hezbollah trading a barrage of rockets amid fears of an all-out war. Hezbollah fired more than 100 rockets across northern Israel as Israel launched hundreds of strikes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is vowing to take whatever action is necessary. A leader for Hezbollah is now calling this an open-ended battle. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Lebanon again tonight.
Tonight, in one of the heaviest bombardments since October 8th, Hezbollah missiles striking northern Israel. More than 100 rockets fired, many of them intercepted, exploding in the sky above. And overnight, Israel carrying out hundreds of strikes inside Lebanon, hitting this building that allegedly belongs to Hezbollah. The Lebanon-based group today saying they are entering, quote, an open-ended battle of reckoning. These strikes part of an escalation of violence on both sides of that border. Like these explosions all across Lebanon, seen last week in videos circulating online. An unprecedented attack with exploding pagers and walkie-talkies in civilian areas that sources say were triggered by Israel. Today, the Lebanese health minister says the government is seeking a diplomatic solution without escalation, while criticizing Israel, saying the 37 dead and more than 3,000 injured in the attacks include civilians and children.
This is clearly an indiscriminate attack. This is clearly against international humanitarian law.
We were at a Hezbollah funeral earlier this week, and just feet away when a handheld radio exploded in a man's hand, and we witnessed the carnage and chaos that followed.
We just heard a loud explosion, and I saw a man whose hands were gone.
On Friday, this IDF strike in southern Beirut, Lebanon's capital, killing at least 45 people, including several top Hezbollah leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu writing in a statement today that Hezbollah has not stopped attacking Israel since October 8th of last year, and that Israel will do whatever is necessary to restore security to its borders. President Biden today remarking that the increased hostilities is worrying.
But we're going to do everything we can to keep a wider war from breaking out, and we're still pushing hard.
Such a volatile time. We're joined now by Marcus Moore in Beirut. And Marcus, this latest exchange takes place as Israel still embroiled in war with Gaza. What's the latest on that conflict?
Lindsay, Israel has continued to strike inside Gaza, including hitting a school today in Gaza City. It killed 6 people. This is the second such strike in 2 days. The death toll now over 41,000, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. And we are also hearing tonight that Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu is considering a plan from the IDF that would cut food and water to northern Gaza to force Palestinians out of the region as they continue their war with Hamas. Lindsay.
Marcus Moore for us. Thanks, Marcus. Let's get right to ABC's Chief Global Affairs correspondent Martha Raddatz in Tel Aviv, an hour away from those Hezbollah strikes inside Haifa. And Martha, what are your sources telling you tonight about where this conflict could be heading?
Well, Lindsay, tonight a senior U.S. official tells me that these most recent Hezbollah strikes deeper into Israel near Haifa are likely a prelude of what is to come. The official says that Israel has a good sense where Hezbollah's longer-range missiles are, but there are concerns tonight that Hezbollah may be preparing to move those missiles. That is something which could prompt Israel to act sooner rather than later in a large military operation against Hezbollah. The official tells me that the U.S. is seeing signs that a larger conflict with Lebanon is inevitable, with Israel seeing Hezbollah very vulnerable right now and Hezbollah wanting revenge. Lindsay?
Yeah, fears of a wider war escalating by the day. Martha, thank you. Now to the race for the White House. Just 44 days to go. Vice President Kamala Harris traveled to New York for some fundraising. Former President Trump hit the critical swing state of North Carolina, but there was one notable absence, and the new details coming in on the latest polls. ABC's Joe O'Brien reports from the White House tonight.
Tonight, Donald Trump claiming no matter the outcome, this election will likely be his last. The former president, constitutionally ineligible to run again if he wins, asked whether or not he'd mount a 4th White House bid if he loses.
I think that will be it. I don't see that at all. I think that hopefully we're going to be successful.
On the campaign trail this weekend, Trump rallying in the must-win battleground state of North Carolina, where a scandal encircles the candidate he endorsed for governor, Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson.
Hello to North Carolina.
Trump not mentioning Robinson's name after CNN reported Robinson made racist and inflammatory posts on a pornographic website years ago, including allegedly calling himself a, quote, black Nazi. ABC News has not independently confirmed the report, which Robinson denies. Some Republicans tonight standing behind him.
I still have Mark Robinson's sign in the yard. We're not taking it down.
I don't not believe him. I don't believe him. I just think that you have to let these things sometimes play out in the court of public opinion.
Kamala Harris.
44 days out from Election Day, tonight Vice President Kamala Harris holding a private fundraiser in New York as her favorability with Americans now spikes, up 16 points since July, according to a new NBC News poll. which also shows Harris with a 5-point lead among registered voters nationally, 49 to 44%. Trump still polling ahead on key issues like immigration and the economy.
We know that this is going to be a close race.
And Harris now challenging the former president, accepting an offer from CNN to debate again in late October. Trump saying no.
It's too late to do another.
Jay O'Brien joins us now from the White House. Jay, the Biden administration is preparing for a major week ahead with the UN General Assembly set to begin here in New York City. President Biden will speak there. What can you tell us about his speech?
Lindsay, tonight, White House officials say President Biden will focus on reaffirming U.S. commitment on the world stage, as well as in this chaotic election year, reasserting U.S. leadership. Then he will return here to the White House, where he and Vice President Harris will meet separately with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who's already here in the U.S. ahead of that UN General Assembly. On Zelensky's agenda today, visiting a Pennsylvania factory that's been making key munitions that his country's been using in its fight against Russia. Lindsay.
Jay O'Brien from the White House. And staying in Washington with breaking news, congressional leaders have reached a deal averting a partial government shutdown. It funds the government through most of December and does not include any of the Trump-backed election security measures like requiring proof of citizenship in order for people to register to vote. Next night, the NYPD released video of officers opening fire on an allegedly knife-wielding suspect on a subway platform. 2 bystanders were caught in the spray of gunfire, one of them shot in the head. The growing outrage over the incident, and we do want to warn you, some of the video images may be disturbing. Here's ABC's Morgan Norwood.
Tonight, growing outrage in New York City over this newly released body camera video of police shooting a man armed with what appears to be a knife on a subway platform. 2 innocent bystanders wounded. Authorities say Darrell Mickles, seen here on surveillance video, jumped the turnstile at a Brooklyn train station a week ago. You can see him unfolding a knife. Officers make him leave, but Mickles returns. Body camera video showing the 2 officers following him to the platform, repeatedly demanding he drop the knife.
Put it down. Put it down. Put it down.
As he boards the train, officers give more orders.
Don't touch it. Put it down. 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 Shoot. Put it like that.
Before deploying their tasers. The suspect ripping the prongs off his body. Back on the platform, body camera video shows Mickles running at one of the officers with a knife. Officers then firing a total of 9 times, striking him and 2 passengers.
I'm shot.
One of the officers also hit. That shooting sparking days of demonstrations. Passenger 49-year-old Gregory Delpeche shot in the back of the head, his family slamming the NYPD's actions.
My cousin is fighting for his life. There's no reason why he should be shot. This is unacceptable, and this is reckless. There's no way he should be in a hospital. That's wrong. It's wrong.
And Lindsay, that suspect pleading not guilty to multiple charges. Tonight, the NYPD defending their officers' use of force, but also calling this a tragic situation. The shooting tonight, Lindsay, still under investigation.
Morgan, thank you. And more problems tonight for the administration of New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Interim Police Commissioner Thomas Donlan says federal authorities seized materials from his home after executing search warrants. Donlan says the investigation is not related to his new job. This just weeks after former Police Commissioner Edward Caban was forced to resign amid an FBI probe. Now to that stunning case in Mississippi. A 15-year-old girl convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for killing her mother and the attempted murder of her stepfather, and the chilling surveillance video that jurors viewed. More now from ABC's Rena Roy.
Tonight, a Mississippi teen sentenced to life in prison without parole for murdering her mother and attempting to kill her stepfather.
We, the jury, sentenced the defendant, Carly Mass and Gregg, to life imprisonment.
15-year-old shooter Carly Gregg sobbing in court as she learned her fate.
Carly Gregg is evil, and that's not easy to say. But the truth of the matter is sometimes evil comes in young packages.
The jury seeing 5 days of disturbing evidence, including this surveillance video. First, you see Gregg with a gun behind her back, pacing around the home. Then you hear gunshots. Gregg returns to the kitchen, texting and playing with her dogs. Prosecutors say she shot her mother, Ashley Smiley, a 40-year-old high school math teacher, in the face. Her stepfather, Heath Smiley, coming home moments later, Gregg also shooting him.
Gun went off in my face before the door was
I don't know, 3 or 4 inches wide open.
Smiley wrestling the gun away, making this frantic call to 911. Prosecutors say the violence unfolded just hours after a friend told Greg's mom about the teen's marijuana use. Greg's attorneys arguing she was having a mental health crisis.
She doesn't know what was going on at that time. We're asking you to find her not guilty by reason of insanity.
I put 3 in my mom, and I got 3 more waiting for my stepdad. You think that sounds like an insane person? No.
Lindsay, it took just 2 hours of deliberations for the jury to find Greg guilty on all charges. The defense says they plan to appeal. Lindsay?
Rena, thank you. There's still much more ahead on World News Tonight this Sunday. The mother of the suspect in the deadly Georgia school shooting is facing charges, what she's accused of, and a neighborhood under siege. Why residents of a South Dakota community are suing the state. Next tonight, details are just coming in. 2 planes have collided in Southern California. The incident took place in Lancaster, not far from the Palmdale Regional Airport. Authorities say one of the pilots was pronounced dead at the scene. The other pilot was not hurt. The FAA and NTSB are investigating. Residents of a South Dakota neighborhood where numerous sinkholes have appeared are suing the state for $45 million. That's roughly the value of their homes, which they say they cannot sell. About 150 homeowners claim the state sold the land to developers while knowing that it was perched on an old mine. The state has asked a judge to dismiss the case, saying officials were not at fault. The mother of the suspect in the deadly Georgia high school shooting has reportedly been indicted on unrelated charges of elder abuse. According to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, authorities accuse Marcy Gray of taping her elderly mother to a chair, taking her phone, and leaving her there for nearly a day. If convicted, she faces up to 20 years in prison. When we come back, rookie sensation Caitlin Clark leads her Indiana Fever as the WNBA playoffs tip off. To the index, the WNBA playoffs are now underway. And just before we came on the air, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever lost to the Connecticut Sun 93-69. And earlier, Las Vegas Aces center A'ja Wilson became only the 2nd player in history to be named the league's MVP in a unanimous vote. Wilson was the first to score more than 1,000 points in a season, and she also set the record for rebounds. The maker of a popular card game is suing Elon Musk and SpaceX, claiming they trespassed and damaged their property in Texas. Cards Against Humanity purchased the vacant land at the Texas-Mexico border in an effort to stop the Trump administration from building a border wall. The lawsuit alleges SpaceX has been using the land for about 6 months. ABC News has reached out to SpaceX for comment. And fans of the Miami Dolphins are remembering one of the team's greats, halfback Mercury Morris. He was a star of the undefeated Dolphins team of 1972, which went on to win back-to-back titles, leading them in rushing touchdowns in both the 72 and 73 seasons. Later in life, he became a motivational speaker, proud of being a part of the NFL's only perfect team. Mercury Morris was 77. When we come back, the identical twins celebrating their birthday with the absolute joy of life and a lesson for us all. Finally, America Strong tonight. The sisters celebrating 102 years young. A major milestone for sisters Marilyn and Madeline of Toledo, Ohio.
Or 2 peas in a pod.
Not just identical twins, they're also best friends, celebrating their 102nd birthday together.
We think alike. Get on the phone, I say, Madeline, I just made a meatloaf. I wish you could be here. She says, I made one too.
Growing up, they were known as the Johnson twins. When they were born in 1922, Warren Harding was president, and the average life expectancy for women was 61. Always by each other's side, from dancing together in 3rd grade to their weddings, dedicating their lives to raising their families. 13 children, 20 grandchildren between them, surrounded by their family this past week, gathering to celebrate more than a century of life.
They're wonderful people. They are, very much. They taught us so much.
Marilyn and Madeline sharing their birthday wish with us all tonight.
We have to tell people, be kind to your neighbor. Just show kindness. Don't hate. Happy birthday to you. Hooray!
Kindness goes a long way. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Lindsay Davis. Have a great night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.